Every MATLAB function that creates a MATLAB graphical object can return a handle. Here I'm going to use the function figure to demonstrate how to use the graphics handle. First, let's create a figure window. This time I'm going to use a variable called fHandle to hold the graphics handle to the figure window. So I create a figure window number 1. Here is the figure window. Let's look at the output in the command window. And this is a list of the primary properties of the handles of the figure window. So first, it's a property called number. That is the ID of the figure window. Next is a property called the name, which is the title of the figure window. And I can show you here, this figure window does not have a title. So the name is an empty string. Property color defines the background color of the figure window, and it has 3 values. Those values represent the color red, green, and blue. And it uses a relative value to represent the intensity. For example, 0 for the lowest intensity and 1 for the highest intensity. And in this color property, you will see the values are almost 1, so the background color is almost white. The next property is called position. It defines the location of that figure window on the screen, and its unit is pixels. And this is because its host window is the entire screen, and we use a pixel to define the locations of a graphic object on the screen. MATLAB defines the bottom left corner as the origin of the screen. If we use pixel, then the position will start at 1, 1. And in this case, the position of the figure window starts as 360 pixels in the X direction and also 198 pixels in the Y direction. And this should be the position when this window is first created. If you click this link, you will see a list of properties associated with this figure window. You probably don't know the meaning of every property, but that would be fine. If you really want to find out the exact meaning of every property, you can use the help feature. So for example, if we type in help figure, this is a help information about the function figure. And over here, there will be something called a link documentation for figure. This will take you to the web page that gives you the documentation of the figure function. Over here, you will see some of the definitions. For example, the name, color, as well as position. And if you want to see more, you can just scroll down to the bottom and click Figure Properties. And over here, you can view the entire properties of this figure window. Now, let's see how to change the properties of the figure window. There are 2 ways to do it. One is your so-called dot expression. So you have a handle, dot, then the property name. For example, here I'm going to change the name of the figure window. So what I'm going to do is say fHandle dot name equals test figure window. We have a typo there. It should be capitalized N. Now let's look at the figure window. And you will see that it has a title, test figure window. You can also use a set function to change the property value. I'm going to do the same thing to the name property. So I will say set, followed by the first input, which is a handle of the object, which is f handle. And then we will list the property name, will be the name, it will be a string. And then I will give the value of the property window. So this time I say test figure window updated. And then let's go back to see the figure window. And you can see the title is changed. Next, I'm going to change the background color of the figure window. I'm going to change the background color to black. I'm still use the set function, so it's f handle at the first input. And the property will be color. And the property value will be 3 values. So since I'm going to use a black color, so it should be 0, 0, 0. And you can see that this is a black background. Similarly, if I want to change this to red color, so all I need to do is to change this value. So for the red, it's full intensity. So the value will be 1. Here you go. And this doesn't look nice. So I'm going to change it back to the white background. And this is a white background. Next, I'm going to show you how to change the position and the size of the figure window. Let's say we're going to move this figure window all the way to the left. In other words, we're going to set the coordinates of the origin to 1 and in other words, we are going to set the origin as 1, 1. So before we do that, let's find the current position. So what I'm going to do is to use f handle dot position to list the current position. Next, what I'm going to do is to change the position. So I can still use the dot expression to make the change. So if I say 1, 1, and I keep the size, and I will move the figure window all the way to the bottom. Let's move the figure window up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is to change the location of the origin to 100 and 100. I move the figure window up. Then I'm going to increase the width of the figure window. So I'm basically trying to double it. So it should be 1120. Here you go. So I doubled the width of the figure window. Lastly, I would like to show you a very important property in the figure window. So if I type F handle again, so that it will bring up the properties, and also I click the all properties here. The particular property I want to show you is called children over here. This is a property that holds the handles to all the graphics objects placed inside this figure window. At this moment, we don't have any, so you will see it's 0 by 0. Another property I want to show you is called parent. This is a handle to the root graphics, which is a screen. In order to get this handle, there are two ways to do it. One is to retrieve this parent property. So I can do hroot equals fhandle dot parent. And here you go. So it lists the major properties related to this handle. Over here, you can see a property called current figure, which points to the current figure window. And this is also the handle. And if you go to all properties, you will see there's another property called the children. Over here, it also has a handle to the figure window. This is the same figure window we created. Another way to get the root handle is to use a function called groot. And you will get the same data for that handle. In order to validate that the current figure is the same figure window we created, we can check its name property. So this is how we do it. hroot dot current figure dot name. And this is the title we just created for our figure window. Alternatively, we can use the chosen property of the root graphics to access the current figure window. Since we only have one figure window created, so it will be the first figure window in that chosen property. So it's hroot dot children, and because it's the first one, so we give it an index, and then we add the property name. There you go, and you can see it is the same figure window.